pineapples.
God. Okay, we're starting the stream with pineapples, apparently. All thanks to Adam. But this is the second Two Aimless Geeks podcast, talking about Nvidia's best named graphics card, the 1660 Ti. Let me switch over to my other screen. Not that screen. That screen. Okay.
Now you know what to expect with our live streams.
Always expect pineapples.
But on a serious note, yeah. What the hell was Nvidia smoking?
Okay. But before we fully start, just a quick announcement. Not really announcement, but just disclaimer that we will curse during this video.
Warning.
Mostly Adam, just because he feels like being inappropriate today. He's inappropriate capo. There we go.
Yes.
But
join my Discord server.
Great drop, Adam. Great drop. But referring back to last week's video and Cal Bitwit and The Verge and the whole copy strike ordeal, that whole mess is solved. It's kind of obviously would be just because all he really did was comment on their video. He didn't exactly steal their video, so it was still fell under fair use. So and it helps to have friends fairly high up in the YouTube tech industry, Linus Media Group, Jay's 2 Cents, Paul's Hardware, Gamers Nexus. So they all has back as well as the entire YouTube community under his channel and everybody else's channel. So just following up on that.
Yep. Yeah, it was stupid to begin with, so whatever. So what about that 1660 Ti? And
hey Lily, of course my son decides to jump into the live stream right now. I thought he.
Of course.
Oh yeah, I did. I'm probably
All right, buddy. All right. Now. Okay. This is what everyone came here to see, isn't it? A child interrupting a live stream. Now, go finish your video.
He's talking about the red monster.
Go finish your video. No, he's not talking about AMD.
Is that I was about to say, is that code name for AMD?
Everyone knows that Adam here is an Nvidia shell. Just from that.
Oh, totally.
And it's not me with the Nvidia thermos over here. Okay, not really. I got that for free as a gift.
Your cat box is Nvidia.
Yes,
Well, I don't know. That kind of makes you anti-Nvidia because your cats are shitting all over Nvidia. But anyways.
Can you put it through, please? Yes, but I had a whole bunch of Nvidia stickers from one of the jobs I did, where I built PCs for a living, out of a warehouse. But they gave me a shit ton of Nvidia stickers, and I decided to put 3 or 4 of them on my cat's litter box. So it's Nvidia powered. Nvidia, don't sue me. Okay, we're getting super off topic.
But
yeah,
all good and fun.
That's how podcasts go.
Party, daddy, party.
Well, yeah. Or else this would be a scripted video.
And it's also my kids screaming about potty. Goddamn Adam, take it away. 1660 Ti.
Yeah. Okay. 1660 Ti. Most of the community thought that it was, a code name. They couldn't possibly name it that. Come on. And I kind of agreed with them. I'm like, wait, what? Why not just call it, the 1160 and be done with it? But I don't know. I guess it's Nvidia's way to kind of drum up some get people talking about it before it came out. I mean, it's a weird name. People are gonna talk.
Feel free to invite Jake while we're gone.
Uh, no, probably not a good. He's got a lot. Our friend Jake, he's probably got noise in his background, so to say. Um, to put it nicely. Um, so yeah. Um, but yeah, I was kind of like, I was like, why would they name it that? I well, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, they seem to be all right value wise, but only in some circumstances, I guess.
And I'm back. The joys of being a parent and streaming at the same time.
Yeah. I was just talking about, of course, the naming scheme, but like, I really do think that it was just Nvidia trying to get people to talk about the cards with the weird name.
That was one of my suspicions because like everyone else, like in almost every video that I've seen, everyone's complaining, why is it called the 1660 Ti?
And if that was what they were going for, then yeah, they succeeded. They got a lot of people talking about it. And
Okay, either that was the reason they just wanted people to start talking about it, or possibly the name 1660 Ti was a part of the rumor mill only, and they decided at the last second to name that card that.
yeah, but the thing is, it feels like the whole Nvidia line now is super convoluted and kind of hard to follow. Like, yes, us, we know, the different ones,
Yeah, unless
but
you've actually been following, for the last couple of years, you're aware, what's the new generation, last generation, and what's considered a
exactly.
good card or not, and what's mid-range or high-end. But if you're just coming into the PC gaming space, you have no fucking clue.
Exactly. And I
And
mean,
then doesn't
it's
help
very
that and
convoluted,
doesn't help that
but
there's like several versions of the GTX 1030 as well as the 1060.
uh,
Or it's like technically a cut down version of it where you can't even call it, a 1060 anymore, but decided to keep the name anyway. So just a lot of shady business practices going around, and AMD has done it too. So I can't really just put all the blame on Nvidia.
well, at least, I mean, right now, AMD's easy to follow. Like, you got Vega 56 and 64, and you got RX 580 and 59. I mean, they're sequential, at least.
Hmm.
You know, you're not going from 1660 Ti to 2060
Well,
to.
oh, as far as the performance for the 1660 Ti, it basically falls somewhere between either under or over a 1070, and in some cases over
Mhm.
the 1070 Ti.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
So,
meanwhile, you have the 1060. Oh, sorry, the 2060 that is either on par with the 1070 Ti or getting into like 1080 territory.
I thought the 10. See, even I'm a little confused. I even thought the 2060 was just 1660 Ti without ray tracing cores and DLSS.
It is
So
It is. Well, the thing is, since it doesn't have those cores, there's nothing. 'Cause it seems like they do work a little bit in the background in terms of just FPS, even if you're not using them for like DLSS.
Okay, all right. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. So.
Because in all the testings that I've seen so far, they put the 1660 Ti against the 2060, and it was always just like just a couple frames behind, not too far behind. You saw anywhere from a maybe 2% to maybe like a 7 or 8% increase in frames per second. So there's not a huge difference. Honestly, once you overclock the 1660 Ti, um, it actually performs like pretty comfortable.
As we're talking about this, I'm just kind of looking at my 1070 Ti and sighing a little bit
Yeah.
because I paid about 4 months ago. I paid about what was it, 370 for it. So I'm just, but I mean,
Okay.
it's still a
Hold on a
great
second.
card.
You have the base 1070, right?
No, I have a 1070 Ti.
Okay.
It's an MSI, in case you're wondering.
Looking at here on Newegg, they have the 1070, the base one, for around $300. And let's see, where's the Ti here?
No, the
Oh,
1070
you
kind of
you got a
on the
deal though.
10.
You got yours on eBay. You managed to get a pretty good deal on it.
No, I
But
got on a Newegg.
did you? Okay.
Yeah.
But right now, between the 1070 and the 1070 Ti, the prices range anywhere from $300 to about $650.
Well, that's because they're being phased out. And,
Well,
there's dwindling stock.
okay, I'm looking at an EVGA card. That's the 1070 Ti going for $600, and then there's the 10 base 1060 for $650. Somehow the regular 1070 is more expensive than the 1070 Ti.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it seemed like when the 1070 Ti came out, it just pretty much just left the 1070 in the dust. It was like, why would I get a 1070 when
Okay,
1070 Ti?
okay. Apparently, it's a limited time offer that's $600 for that 1070 Ti. But even still, like since now you have the 1660, it kind of phases out even the 1070 Ti because once you overclock it,
Exactly.
it's not even like at the table anymore. Honestly, it doesn't bring anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what happened with when the 1070
Yeah,
Ti came out. People weren't buying 1080s anymore because you could overclock a 1070 Ti and get 1080 performance. It's just they're doing the same thing
yeah.
again.
Here's the MSI version. This is their base 1660 Ti for 279 or 280. And meanwhile, the 1070 Ti is upwards of $600. Sometimes you can get it for 500, but there's no point of getting that card anymore.
No. Like these new cards are just are pretty darn good value.
Although
Uh,
one thing for Newegg, their more expensive version, the Ti Gaming X, they have a sale of $310 right here. Now, if you go over to Micro Center, which are sitting at, I believe MSRP is $315. So on Newegg, they supposedly have a sale of $5 off. Okay, Newegg, $5 is not a sale. Okay, that's shady as fuck.
yeah. I mean, I guess $5 is $5. I mean, you can go get a burrito or something for what you saved.
Thank you, Newegg. You saved me $5 for a burrito.
Hey, you know what? Graphics card shopping can make you hungry, so you're going to be appreciative of that $5. You could even get a $5 foot long. I
Yeah,
mean, come on.
I can't wait to make people jealous. When I post my new rig on Discord, I bought the one on Newegg and I saved $5. And look, I got this burrito. Okay, you understand this burrito is amazing. I wouldn't have been able to get that if I got the one at Micro Center.
Just make sure you install the graphics card in the computer and the burrito in your stomach, not the other way around.
You know what, Adam? Just for you, when I do build my new rig and everything, I'm gonna put a pineapple inside the rig, just for the B-roll, just for you,
Yes.
Adam.
Stay tuned for that inside joke that you're just learning about now.
Well, we said pineapple at
Um,
the beginning of the video, so
exactly. So, well, by then it will be an inside joke if you've seen this video.
right. That's a good segue to later on. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen this month or sometime at the beginning of next, but I will be upgrading my current computer that I'm currently running an APU. I know an APU. It doesn't have an actual dedicated graphics card, but it's not bad. For video editing, not the best. I can somehow make it work. But I'm going to be upgrading to the Ryzen 5 2600, as well as the motherboard, the MSI B450 Tomahawk. What I currently have now is an ASRock Pro 4 motherboard, and they did not have the best APU support at first. It's currently running stable. I had months of just crashing and bullshit with it, but it works now.
I just say party again.
My kid said potty again. This is very important, people. That's what makes for a good podcast. Your kid talking about going potty.
Yeah.
Adam, it's up to you again. I'm off.
Pineapples.
And
Uh,
also, I was gonna get the 2060, but because of financials, I'm gonna have to go with the 1660 Ti. And be honest, after seeing performance between the 2060, I actually feel okay with getting the 1660 Ti.
yeah, so.
All right, let's go, buddy. Come on, buddy.
Mommy cake. We
Um,
bought her cake.
how y'all doing? How's life? Um, uh, how about that weather? Yeah, I mean, I'm totally new at this with the whole podcast thing. So,
I just told my kid that he's amazing at interrupting live streams, and he goes, "Yeah, I know."
I'm amazing at filling dead space. Not really.
Okay, all right, Adam. Thank you for that. Or I'm sorry, I have to keep getting used to I'm calling you Capo while during a podcast.
Well, just call me Kin for now.
Ken, Capo, Adam is all interchangeable, really.
No, they didn't. If people start calling me by Adam on the internet, it's weird. It's just really weird. So yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and start addressing the whole, I guess, hate mentality amongst video game reviewers,
Oh yes.
and try not to
Okay.
mention specific channels by name.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we all know that companies like Activision and EA are greedy expletives. Okay. We all know that they're just trying to get, they're trying to get money from us. Okay. But there are some times when, like, say EA, they they published Anthem. Okay. Now, I feel that Anthem, I feel they're getting a lot of undue hate because they've been published by EA. Um, and I think it's kind of unfair to BioWare. Um, but going into that, it's just I feel that a lot of YouTubers, I'm not naming any names, but I feel like it's become a trend to just go ahead and hate a certain game and like just jump on that bandwagon and hype it all up like, oh yeah, this is good, it's so terrible, everything about this is terrible. um I feel like people are doing it for views. And
All right, hopefully that's the last interruption I get tonight. But Adam, why don't you catch me up to speed?
okay, I was just telling them about, how the games, they get a bad rap because of their publisher. Anthem, okay, EA's their publisher. They get a bad rap because of it, and I was saying that, it's it's become a trend on YouTube now to hate a game, to jump on that bandwagon and just make videos about like how bad it is.
I mean,
Um,
we touched on this a little bit. That technically this has been a problem for a couple years now, but
it's gotten.
but like you said, it's reaching its peak, where it's become more of a
Would you say that it's reached its apex?
wow, just
Legends?
wow.
No. Anyways, bad jokes aside, um, yeah, it was kind of there in the background over the last few years, like starting with Battlefront and all that. That's the first
It's
thing
been
I
around
can
way
really
before
remember.
then, like since like honestly after the first few years after like you really started seeing more game reviews on YouTube, but it just wasn't as prominent back then.
But it wasn't in the spotlight like it is today.
Yeah.
There's not Back then there wasn't whole channels about like ripping games to shreds because of their flaws.
I mean, it's almost become part of the culture now for games where we have dedicated YouTube channels or like people on other platforms to trash talking a game because of their publisher without giving the game an actual chance. I mean,
No.
I was right there with them, when they were talking about Anthem. I was like super skeptical just because EA has basically dragged people through the mud over the last couple of years. And the only reason I was giving it somewhat of a chance was because after EA losing so much revenue and like for like how much their company is worth last year, this was their make it or break it. If they actually diss gamers again for the 15th, 100th time and everything, I don't think they're really going to survive as a company.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also not fair to BioWare
No,
because
no, it's not.
they're the ones that made the game, and now they're getting crapped on all. They're getting crapped on because of their publisher. When I feel if they publish the game themselves somehow, I feel like people would be like, okay, yeah, the
Yeah,
game's got bugs,
Yeah,
and
if that was the case, there wouldn't have been a huge backlash of how the game performed during like the free
okay,
demo weekends.
all right. If some no name publisher called, I don't know, uh, Apex Cheetos, yeah, I don't know. It's the first thing that came to mind, but some random
All right, go.
publisher that came out of nowhere, it wouldn't have this kind of hate. And yes, people would be like, yeah, the game's kind of buggy, but what I've been seeing in actual comments when I've been looking at, reviews and Facebook posts is the game has its problems. Yes, content is an issue right now, as but a lot of people are saying, hey, this game has potential. It's a lot of fun. And
At this point, I can't really say it like that's just potential. It's actually a full blown AAA game. It's it's fairly polished and everything. There's still a few bugs and everything, but that's with any major release. For the most
okay,
part, it's heavily polished already.
oh yeah, like, and in today's gaming community, I mean, uh, where early access is a thing, like
Take the temperature.
it makes when you release a game and you don't have an early access point of it, like, or version of it, people expect that game to be finished right there and then, like, which it should be, to be honest.
Well, it's
I
not
mean,
just hate amongst gamers that's really fueling this, but it doesn't help when we have whole channels dedicated to when a game pops up, or even anything that EA publishes to just shit on it repeatedly because it's EA because they got screwed in the past and they want to make sure that everyone feels as hateful as
I
them
mean,
about EA.
don't get me wrong. If I had a chance to shit all over EA's CEO, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
That's a scene I
Like,
really
I'd
don't want to
pull down
imagine.
my pants and, like, I'd make sure that I'd eat lots of beans and just get all kinds of diarrhea and
Uh,
shit right down
this
and then
this
just shit on
stream
his
is
head.
taking a turn for the worse and not in the best way.
But um, I don't know. I just don't like the greedy mentality.
As far
You
as what
know,
I've seen and what was talked about by the developers themselves, Bioware specifically, like EA has basically not had their hands in the game's development whatsoever. They did have a little bit to do with how the game is going to be monetized. I mean, it's still all going to be like mostly just cosmetic stuff. I'm not really sure what your anything else that they're going to be putting on the store, but they supposedly leaked prices of how much things were going to cost. And typical EA fashion, they release numbers that are extremely high and then come back and say, "Oh no, it's only gonna be half the price." Like that part was EA. Anything else that's actually the game and not the monetization, that was all Bioware. So I can't really be mad at them.
I really can't. I mean, I still wanna. I was thinking about paying the $16 for a month and playing it and see what it's like. You know, because with as with my feelings about, like, how the hate of the game is going, I really, really, really want to experience it myself, and that way I can speak from as an everyman, like everybody that's played it, and maybe I don't think it's going to be all that bad. I think I'm going to have fun with it. You know, I almost feel like that I'm going to have a little less fun because of the preconceived notions that the community has kind of, you know,
Okay, that's the same way I feel about Destiny when that came out. And it wasn't the game wasn't good. Yes, the story's kind of like lackluster. It definitely got better during the
what
expansion, from what I've heard about.
story.
The
um,
expansion did address the story a little bit, um,
a little bit,
but
yeah.
I was mostly hating on the game not because the game itself, but just because that was the mentality most people had around it at the beginning.
I mean, yeah, you have to put yourself into a certain mindset, and what you shouldn't have to do when you're playing a game.
Yeah, we're in this day and age. We actually have to sit back and ask ourselves, do we like or hate this game because
All right,
of the company, or the game is actually good?
real quickly, let me bring you back to back when I was a kid. Okay. Christmas Eve, I opened up my Super Nintendo. I played Super Mario Brothers for the Super Nintendo Super Mario Brothers. And that was before like games were reviewed on the internet like heavily, and I was able to take Super Mario Brothers in all my awe at just how amazing the graphics were on Super Nintendo at that time, because it was the first time I ever seen a Super Nintendo. But my point is, I wasn't swayed by the internet. You know, I was able to experience it as a pure experience, not
Now, speaking Super Mario and just enjoying the experience. Now, this is something no one likes to talk about, but the Super Mario movie. Everyone saying it was a
uh
terrible movie. We hated it and everything. The thing is, I watched it when I was like, a little kid, where I didn't even know at the time what Super Mario even was. I got to enjoy the movie as just any other movie, and it was okay. The only reason people hated it because it wasn't true to the actual game.
yeah, it was very yeah,
If they would have called the movie like two plumbers get lost or something, no one would have gave a shit.
Mario and Luigi's Excellent Adventures.
But it's such a long
Hey,
going
that's all.
yeah, but it's such a
That's
long going joke about how horrible the movie was.
I mean, eh, I've always been. I judge I judge things from, did I have a good time watching it when I first saw it? Yeah, I did have a good time watching it. I had a great time watching it, and
Okay, do you have anything else to add before we wrap it up here?
um, pineapples.
Yes, ending the stream the same way it started with pineapples. Oh, there was one more thing we forgot to go over. The whole issue with Linus Media Group and the supposed drama they were addressing. It wasn't anything big. It was just a lot of people misinformed. Apparently, people were saying that Linus Media Group was copyright striking like their
Oh yeah,
channels.
people were trying to make Linus into some big monster that was going around copy striking people for the littlest thing.
Melee.
Is what it was in a nutshell. And Linus is like, no, I'm not going to do that to people. That's stupid. He made his own little live
Yes,
stream,
I have a puppy with me. I
and
should
yeah, he's
unplug my
like,
headphones.
no, I'm not going to do that. That's kind of an asshole thing to do. Um, but yes, go ahead and you can kind of explain the technical bits of how it all came about.
Okay. Essentially, back when Light Up Media Group first started, whenever they had new testing on graphics cards that were coming out, they used a lot of benchmarks that were online that were free to use, and they used those quite heavily. So they came up in a lot of their videos. So now that other channels are springing up and they're using the same benchmarks, the YouTube algorithm is flagging those channels as saying that they technically stole like Light Media Group's video, when in reality all they did was just use the same benchmark. So they're blaming Linus for all this, but it was just the YouTube algorithm doing everything automatically. And if they would have taken the time to either reach out to Linus, because he has his email there available for people,
Mm-hmm.
as well as either talk to YouTube, they would have found out that all they had to do was basically go into the YouTube channel, say that this video was flagged incorrectly, and that would have been
Mm-hmm.
the end of it. They would have looked at the video, looked at it. It was just the benchmark that the algorithm was picking up, and that's it. And they would have returned as normal.
I
Because
got some socks.
Ready?
because Linus would have had to go in and actually he'd have to You'd have to go in and be like, okay, yeah, no, I want to take action against this.
Yeah, but it was just
Which,
a claim. A copyright strike would have shut down your entire channel,
yeah,
preventing you from making
exactly.
videos. The claim, all it does was take the revenue from the original video, but as long as you actually, bring it to the attention of YouTube, that actually stops it from happening until the matter is resolved. And that's really all that would have happened. But instead of actually taking the time to learn about it, people were just like, ranting on forums, making videos about how Linus is a monster, that he's copy striking everybody, without really taking the time to know what they're talking about.
It's, you know, it's more people hopping on the bandwagon with the whole Verge thing and how they, which, yeah, the Verge was wrong to do what they did. But
As
it's
big
just,
as big as Linus Media Group is, I mean, you're bound to have people that just either hate the channel or Linus specifically that are more than willing to jump on this bandwagon.
mm-hmm.
I think that about wraps it up. Adam, would you like to? I'm sorry, Kin or Capo, would you like to wrap it up? And don't finish it with pineapple.
Call me Kin,
All right,
because
Kin.
Capo is my Discord channel. If you wanna join that, we'd love to have you. Maybe put the link in the description. I'm not sure. But yep, this has been another. Uh, this has been two geeks rambling about absolutely nothing.
Subscribe now. But yes,
Well,
go ahead.
yeah. Hey, if you want to subscribe, I'm not gonna stop you because that would make us feel awesome
Yeah,
because maybe somebody likes our rambling enough to subscribe.
especially for the random 2-year popping in and out because I have to take him potty. But yes, this has been Two Endless Geeks podcast. We do a video every single Sunday, and catch us next week. Please subscribe and catch more random acts on our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
But
because you're gonna see a lot of this randomness. Hopefully, that's why you came back.
all right, folks, we love you all. See you all next week.